Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, I've got two stories, but they are absolutely related, and I think better to put them together than to do them as two individual videos because of the sort of they cover the same kind of thing. So the first one is about a fight back against what is described as 20-minute neighbourhoods in one article. 15-minute cities was the plan, but we know that they're actually ghettos. They're the ghettos for the poor, the masses, and you'll be assigned to your ghetto, and without your permit you won't be allowed to leave. And they've got all these enforcement cameras up to stop you travelling, and of course they'll be monitoring all your movement and all this. It's Soviet style control. That's what this 20-minute ghetto, as they're calling it in Scotland, 15-minute ghettos in England. And they're already trying to do it with, we'll have a low traffic neighbourhood, which is a way of closing off roads. Just make it harder for you to get in and out. We're going to put these up, these cameras up for your safety and improve your air quality. No, it's to monitor your journeys. Let's face it, if you wanted clean air, you just make sure the MOT became slightly stricter on emissions and therefore your clean air. So the fact of putting cameras up, nothing to do with clean air, everything to do with mass control. So we'll take a look at the first article. But then we'll have a look at the second one very quickly, just to show what you can do. And it's all to do with the fight back against it, which is absolutely what we must do every single time. Here goes. So this first article, Scottish fight back against authoritarian 20-minute neighbourhoods begins in Edinburgh. And I've highlighted this bit. Right, let's light it here so when we get to it. Low emission zones, low traffic neighbourhoods and plans for, quote, local living. That means ghettos. That means locking you in so you've got no reason to leave where you are assigned. That is your area. Work camp 5. You will stay there. If you need to leave to go to work, you'll be given your permit, but you must return before the curfew. That's what they're trying to impose. 15-minute cities, or 20-minute as they're calling it, and they're calling them neighbourhoods. Do not be fooled by what they're calling them. Ghettos for poor people. Ghettos for the masses. Ghettos so that we can be controlled and every aspect of our lives monitored. It's a direct assault on our basic rights and civil liberties, say campaigners, and they are, of course, right. And we must, each and every one of us, to a man, woman and child, fight it, reject it, and say no. And any party that tries to bring it in, doesn't matter what party they are, if it's your party or the opposition to away from where you normally vote, it does not matter. Any party that brings it in, vote them out, reject it, say no. And if it comes to it, direct action, and we'll come to that. Residents, business owners and concerned citizens are coming together to fight back against increasing restrictions on driving and free movement in Scotland. Edinburgh City Councils for the low emission zones, monitoring your movements. Low traffic neighbourhoods, kettling you in your ghettos. Local living, the creation of those ghettos. And 20-minute neighbourhoods, the area to which you will be assigned where you cannot leave, will be up for discussion at public meetings organised by the new Together campaign on Tuesday. It's been organised by a group of worried residents who want to ensure their voices are heard and not ignored by woke politicians imposing these policies and practices from the direct orders of the WEF. It's simple. You just reject them and you have civil disobedience. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be harsh. But when they impose something and they put the roadblocks down, you find someone with a big enough lorry, put your change around it, just hoik it out of the way. And when they put the cameras up, you get your little laser pointers and just burn out the cameras. And when they try to put locks on things, super glue the locks every time. And when a council van turns up to try and do something, super glue in his lock. Super glue everything. Super glue this, super glue that. Everything. Make life so expensive for these councils that they cannot do it. That they run out and you burn through their budget. And that way, there's no action. It's just burning through their budget. And then they can do nothing. Show that we are many, they are few. That's what they forget, but that's what they most fear. They fear the fact that we are 1,000 times more than they are. For every one of them, there's thousands of us. And if we act en masse, we will win. We will always win. Because ultimately, the people always win against a totalitarian state. Every totalitarian state falls. And it isn't pretty for those in power. So we need to reject it at every stage. Anyway, Glasgow City Council's low emission zone. That's nothing to do with emissions, because if it was, you'd do it on the emissions of cars, not the age of cars. It's poor people control. Went live on June the 1st, with Edinburgh, Aberdeen and Dundee to follow next year. Edinburgh's LTNs are designed to keep people from travelling between one area and another, but they say it's the quality of walking, wheeling and cycling. Really, is that right? Sounds like bullshit to me. Sounds like kettling. Anyway, it's for decluttering pavements. Well, have you tried, taking all the crap off them, all the waste, all the dirt? Have you done anything like that? And if it's all about air quality, why not improve the quality of the cars? Why not make the cars cleaner? No. Fuck all to do with air quality. Everything to do with a totalitarian, authoritarian state controlling the movement of its peoples. You'll be having internal passports next. Together supporter Grant Douglas MBA, who has cerebral palsy, said, living in Corstorphine has suddenly become challenging, especially if you can't walk or cycle. The only option is to use a car. Well, that's right. He is someone who has to use a car. He can't cycle, he can't walk, but he can't use his car now because the council have decided that he has to stay where he's put. The low transport neighbourhood recently introduced in my community has added miles onto my essential journeys during my daily life because I rely on my car as a result of being physically disabled. And therefore, these LTNs are now discriminatory. They are discriminatory against disabled people. That makes them illegal. Bang, get them off. 2010 Equality Act comes to the rescue again. Alan Miller, co-founder of the group, added, road closures are damaging and harmful to residents and local businesses. LTN bollards and surveillance cameras are limiting and intrusive and do not make a 15-minute ghetto, where all the services and local authorities are meant to provide. LTNs and LEZs are brought in across the UK with little by way of true engagement with the public. No, the public don't want them. That's why they're not engaging. They know if they're engaged, they'll be rejected every single time. Supporters say they no longer have any faith in the public consultation process at both local and national level. And this is why direct action every time. Media commentator James Melville, who was among the speakers at the meeting, said freedom of movement was one of the most fundamental human rights. And these people are taking it away because the WEF, the global conspiracy, is saying, no, we're putting this in all over the world. We want people to stay where they're put while we fly around quaffing champagne in our private jets. They can eat their bug burgers in their little ghettos. I think it's time we dragged out the rope and started putting these ropes to some use. Maybe dangle something off them from a lamppost. Quite a few, actually. And that'll soon change their minds, wouldn't it? When they see a few hanging there, dangling from lampposts, it doesn't half concentrate the mind and tell you where your true priorities lie. Scottish entrepreneur Simon Milne said, LTNs, LEZs and 20-minute neighbourhoods are a direct assault on our basic rights and civil liberties. And what do you do when your rights and liberties are being removed? You take to the streets and you take direct action. And remember, we are many, they are few. We need to make them afraid, very afraid to bring this in. Do not do anything in your own neighbourhoods. Go to their neighbourhoods. Do it to their neighbourhoods. Because it isn't the rich neighbourhoods, isn't your leafy Surrey neighbourhoods that are getting the LTNs and all these cameras, is it? No, it's where the poor people live. That's where they're doing it. And of course, I'm talking about direct action. I'm going to flick across straight to this. Bang. Direct action. A bus gate camera sliced in two at protest over traffic surveillance. Let me just shrink that back a little bit there. Get that in. So, yeah, so you got this. Someone's just come along, got the old axle grinder, went through and taken out the camera because people don't want to be watched all the time. And on the wall there you can see no to LTN, low traffic neighbourhood, no kettling, no control. So I'm going to go very quickly here because there's one line I want to just hit on. A camera pole at a controversial trial bus gate in Edinburgh has been sliced in two in a protest over new traffic calming measures. This is the sort of thing we need to do. Direct action. Cut them down. They'll have to come along. They've only got so much of a budget. Cut them down again. When the new one goes up, cut it down again. Fell them like trees, every single one. And the ones you can't get to like that, lasers in the camera. Boom, boom, boom. Burn out the optics. Over the weekend, between July the 22nd and July the 23rd, the pole supporting busgate cameras was cut in two in an act of vandalism. No, in an act of rebellion. In an act of rebellion by the people against the authoritarian state. Let's be honest, it isn't vandalism. Anyway, the City of Edinburgh Council's Transport and Environment convener, Councillor Scott Arthur, responded to the incident and said, "There's no excuse for dangerous criminal behaviour like this." Yes, there is. It's called freedom, it's called liberty, and it's called direct action by your assault on the people by trying to control them, to limit them, to remove their rights, their freedoms, and their access to whatever part of Britain they want. There should be no coercive control. It's all got to be rejected. You need to start taking out every single camera. We need to stop being the single most surveyed society in the world. Even China does not surveil its people as much as our government does. It's time for it to stop. Every camera, take them out. Take them out every day. When you see them, laser them, axle grind them, have little accidents. Take them out. Every single one. We'll bankrupt these people. Every time they go to put a new one in, as the council workers are working away, it's going to come down the next night anyway, but while they're working away, super glue in their van locks. Marvellous, isn't it? Anyway, I shall stop there. I shall come up and I shall finish off. Now, how do we know that the will of the people will ultimately win? Well, there's another story coming up where Rishi Sunak has looked at the will of the people. He's seen the ULEZ rejection in London. He wasn't expected to win Uxbridge, but the people of Uxbridge who did not want to vote Tory voted Tory simply because they hate the idea of these cameras more than they hate the idea of a Tory MP. So Rishi Sunak has seen the light and he is now starting to reject it. But we'll see that in the next video. But it is the sort of thing, because we are many, our voices will ultimately be heard. Now, if it means that we have to do this direct action to get things to change, then fine, we do it, but we will win. Because if we don't stand up, the next generation won't be able to. They will be so surveilled, they won't even have a conversation. They'll be arrested for whatever crime that the state thinks is good enough. Because you're not allowed to gainsay the state. It's our state. It's not theirs. It's ours. We need control. And we need to take that control back. And ask anyone in this country, do they want to be surveilled 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every journey monitored, everyone they talk to monitored, everywhere they go monitored? Because we weren't consulted. So it's time we do our own consultation. And we'll do that the way that we do that. We will show them that we don't want to be monitored. We don't want to be surveilled. We don't want to be interrogated. And we certainly don't want to be kettled into ghettos. I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here in the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and stay free. Bye.